Hello everyone, this is Trackpad Artist, and welcome back to our exploration of Ryng. Before getting into the video proper, I'd first like to offer my thanks for the amazing support you've all sent my way. I can't say I'd ever imagined receiving so much traction and interest from you all, especially so quickly. And for that, I am truly grateful. With that out of the way, I think it's finally time to get into the video proper, and dive into Ryng's expansive pantheon. In the beginning, the cosmos were scattered, disorganized, chaotic energies, unfit for life to bloom and progress. As the eons passed, however, these energies would come to condense and shift, organizing itself into the first celestial being, Father, a cosmic humanoid with dozens of arms and hundreds of fingers. Father, being birthed from what were originally chaotic energies, longed for a purpose, discontent with his eternal existence of observance. For this, Father created 6 heirs, pulled together from the very same energies that came to form himself. Firstly, Father formed his eldest daughter, Ryng, an ever-changing being of light and stars, tasked with recording the laws of creation as Father organized the beginnings of the universe. As his plans developed, however, Father came to realize that his creations were stagnant and unchanging. A world without change would hold no value, and as such, Father formed his second heir, Ryng, to govern the laws of time. A skeletal being of glass and stars, Ryng pushed and pulled the universe into a state of progress. Stars began to grow and die with the passing eons, providing value to the light they shed throughout their time. But Father knew that a cycle cannot end without a beginning, so he formed Ryng, a humanoid being cloaked in 6 wings of light, to govern the laws of life and birth, completing the cycle Father set out to create. Now, in an ever-changing field of stars, organized and governed by the laws of his heirs, Father set out to spread life across these same stars, but would need help in the creation of something so delicate. For that, he and his heirs studied the laws they had formed, sculpting the first humanoid races from the fingers of Father. Molded in the image of their creators, they were adorned in many eyes and wings. These bodies, however, held no life within their chest, inanimate as the stars. Ryng, however, could see the potential of these bodies, tearing out his heart to bleed life's first blood, the fuel of life. With his blood, Ryng brought life to Father's first peoples at the cost of his own, for with no body to hold his heart, its beating came to cease. Ryng, grieved for the loss of his brother and the breaking of their cycle, took upon himself his brother's glowing heart, restoring life to Ryng and their cycle of time, now ever entwining the threads of life and death. With the cycle restored, Father's first peoples grew to prosper amongst the stars, coming to be known as the first angels. Father looked upon his creations and was pleased, feeling great joy for his people, but came to see that their joy was absent. For that, Father formed his youngest daughter, Shea, a humanoid figure with 6 distinct masks which orbit above her neck. She would come to govern emotion and bestow it among Father's peoples, granting unto them joy and sadness, rage and fear, love and cowardice, but above all else, desires and will. With wills of their own, Father knew his people would lose their way without direction, and for that, created his third son, Kyle. A pillar of law, an image of strength, Kyle was a creature of platinum skin and snow-feathered wings, a creature of awe and power. Kyle served as a judge among Father's peoples, enforcing the Creator's will and guiding his peoples to do goodness among themselves. Even with such law, many of Father's peoples worshipped their own devices, rather than their Creator's will. They schemed against their Creator and brothers, and came to forge their own laws and rituals, which gave form to the fell dictates, Con, Fafnir, Conine, Zainth, and Senthus. These beasts waged war against Kyle so that they may earn the right to govern themselves. In a cosmic battle known as the War of Law, centuries of fighting led to the felled dictates striking a mighty blow against Father's youngest heir, Kyle, who was mortally wounded. Enraged at the wickedness of his people's hearts, Father took form and entered the fray, banishing the beasts of his people's wickedness to the darkness between stars. He, however, could not bring himself to bring such a punishment among his people, even those that brought about such wicked things. For that, he took himself a rib, and sculpted it into a new home for his people, a home where they could live at a distance from their creator without completely losing his presence. This home would come to be known as Ryng, and would serve as a test for his wicked people, that those worthy may earn Father's favor once more and repent of their wrongdoings. As such, Father took his wicked peoples unto Ryng, stripping them of their many eyes and wings, that they should not recognize themselves, nor remember the wickedness of their past life, all that they may find their own way back to Father. These fallen peoples came to be known as man. With centuries at such a distance from Father and his heirs, Father grew worried and weary of the state of his fallen people, concerned for their safety and well-being, but unable to break his vow to remain far from them. As such, Father would come to create his final heir, Savfk. Destined to govern the people of Ryng and serve as an extension of Father's will, Savfk was taught for many centuries in the histories of Father's peoples and his heirs. Savfk, however, was unable to understand his father's plans, and grew jealous of his brothers and sisters, impatient with his lack of title. For this, Savfk plotted to conspire against his father and brothers, planning to slay them in order to take the title of creator for himself. Before he could put these plans into motion, however, Ryng discovered his plot and exposed Savfk for his treachery. Devastated with Savfk's wicked plans, Father banished him to Ryng, to dwell among the people he was set to rule, no longer as that ruler, but as a prisoner. Savfk was encased within the star at Ryng's center, Dion, snuffing out its light to serve as a warning to Ryng's peoples as to the cost of wickedness. Angels now watch and guard the doors to Savfk's prison, serving as escorts for all the wicked souls who arrive at its doors after death. All the while, those who truly come to follow the will of the Father return to his presence, to be returned to their original forms in a state of eternal bliss. This is the story of Ryng's mythos, one long since shrouded in doubt and skepticism among Ryng's peoples, as the gods have long since distanced themselves from their subjects. Even so, these gods each hold a place within Ryng's religious communities, where they are further studied and worshipped. Father, the Light Shaper, serves as the god of creation, order, and mercy. Scrolls and art depict him as a cosmic humanoid with dozens of arms, a scar across his side, and an orb of light replacing all but his lower jaw. Father's symbol is seen as a vertical line with 3 horizontal bars that intersect it. The 3 bars of this symbol each represent a different aspect of creation. The upper bar, the axis of existence, bridging the heavens and the material realm. It symbolizes the connection between mortals and the divine. The central bar, the division between creation and destruction, a reminder that all things must one day return to the void. And the lower bar, the balance of law and free will, Father's greatest paradox, order within freedom, lies in the tension between structure and autonomy. Ryng, the Eternal Witness, is Father's eldest daughter, the first of his heirs. Serving as the goddess of knowledge, magic, and the stars, Ryng is depicted in art and murals as an ever-changing form of light and stars, her hundreds of eyes studying every law of the universe. Her symbol is a star set within the pupil of an eye. Fern, keeper of the cycle, Father's eldest son, serves as the god of life, death, and time. Fern is depicted as a skeletal being of glass, his glowing heart ever beating within his chest. Fern is an incredibly understanding figure, which is odd for a being that lacks any empathy. He is aware of his godliness, and is constantly reminded of his separation from mortals with his role as a ferryman to the afterlife. He is soft-spoken and well-tempered, the embodiment of true neutrality, only wishing to maintain the cyclical balance of life. His symbol is the cycles of the moon. Rom, the seed of eternity, Father's next son, serves as Ryng's god of life, nature, and the harvest. Ancient arts depict Rom as a humanoid with a star in place of his head, 6 wings of light that cloak his body, and a hole in the center of his chest, an ever-present reminder of his sacrifice and ties to his brother. His symbol is a 6-pointed star with a hole at its center. Rom is the embodiment of the natural world, the eternal cycle of life, growth, and renewal. He governs the rhythms of creation and decay, ensuring that balance prevails across Ryng. Although his domain is one of nurturing and prosperity, Rom's influence also reminds mortals that life is fleeting, and that only through sacrifice can true renewal occur. Shay, the divine paradox, is the goddess of emotion, love, and dreams. Shay is depicted as a humanoid with many disembodied smiling faces orbiting above her neck. It is these many faces which bring about her paradoxical nature, an ever-shifting entity of fluid grace and mystery, with each of her faces representing a different emotion. Joy, with a radiant grin that kindles warmth in the hearts of mortals. Sorrow, with a bittersweet smile that reminds all of love lost and lessons learned. Rage, with a fierce, unrelenting grin that fuels the will to fight for change. Fear, with a trembling smirk that warns of danger and heightens survival instincts. Love, with a tender, knowing smile that binds hearts and souls together. And deception, with a sly, enigmatic grin that weaves dreams, illusions, and desires. Her symbol, a smiling mask, embodies the duality of her nature. Truth and illusion, love and fear, reality and dreams. Kael, the Platinum Arbiter, serves as a divine pillar of law, the god of justice, nobility, and law. Depicted as a majestic platinum beast with 6 snow-white wings that stretch across the heavens, Kael's form is one of dignity and unyielding power. His eyes, polished orbs of molten silver, see beyond mortal pretense, discerning not only actions, but the intent behind them. His skin gleams with a holy light that no impurity can mar, and each of his 6 wings carries the weight of celestial law. Kael's symbol is a set of balanced scales, signifying the equilibrium between judgment and mercy, and the unwavering standard by which all are measured. Zephyr, the Faceless King, Father's youngest heir, once destined to rule over Ryng's peoples, now serves as little more than a reminder of the consequence of iniquity. Even so, he serves as the god of betrayal, ambition, and pride. Zephyr is depicted as a being without form, ever bound to the armor he originally bore to slay his father. Being without form, Zephyr has no means to interact with the physical realm outside of his armor, which serves more as a prison than even the dead star he is encased in, confining him to the limitations of a mortal body, a grievous crime done against his ego. Even with his shattered material form, his followers, as well as those that encounter him, still catch glimpses of his true self, a bestial being of shadow and teeth, eyes and inky blackness, a collection of the wicked souls trapped within Zephyr's prison. Zephyr's symbol is a broken sword, an ever-taunting reminder of his failed rebellion. The celestial gods, however, are not the only beings of Mythos who hold incredible power and influence over Ryng and its peoples. As the Feld dictates, those who rose against Kael in the heavenly battle of the War of Law still roam Ryng to this day, each ruling grand empires of man hidden from the light. These beasts, however, are the topic of another discussion. For now, I'd once again like to thank you all for your amazing support and incredible questions and ideas you've each been commenting. Keep it up. I'll continue to read as many as I can. For those that are new, if you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing. Until next time, this has been Trackpad Artist. Be sure to stick around for our next discussion, where we'll delve more into the Feld dictates, the gods of corrupt law.